Alright, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this first non-live edition of the Push for Relevancy, our Coastal Zone Championship Wrestling save. I wasn't able to stream any Coastal Zone the previous week, and the week that you guys are currently watching this, I don't think I'll be able to stream Coastal Zone again. So in the little bit of time I do have, I'm gonna pre-record this first edition of Coast to Coast, this first taping, and then maybe maybe a stream for Atlanta's Calling and the final episodes before then. I do not know. Just shit's going on. I'm only able to stream for sure 1 day a week, so like I said when this series first started, I'm prioritizing 5SSW. We're much further along in that save. We're past the halfway point in that save, so I'm prioritizing 5SSW streams, and if I'm not able to record, or if I'm not able to go live more than once a week, we're only going to do 5SSW. So while I have a little bit of time, I am going to do some Coast to Coast. It's just, you know, doing 5SSW and the Ruthless Aggression save, it hasn't left me a lot of time to pre-book Coastal Zone, but I'm here. We're here and pre-booked for the first of 2 episodes of Coast to Coast on this video is none other than a rematch that we saw back in May. One of the more fun matches in Coast to Coast history is the team of El Jaguar and Luis Montero Jr. taking on Going Coastal. They will get another chance to cement their legacy in the tag division. Going Coastal, or no, it was American Flash was screwed out of the world title by Frankie Perez joining the Coastal Kings, and somebody else that was screwed was none other than Tigre Salvaje Jr. when Air Raid Siren shocks the world and joins up with the violent incel that is Heartbroken, and they are going to have a tag team match tonight where hopefully Air Raid Siren will explain herself. But we're opening the show with an angle of Frankie Perez explaining why he did what he did. Why did Frankie Perez join the Coastal Kings? But before we get into that, because I forgot I did a pre-show match. I've got Rey Cavallero versus Atsumori Takamura. Rey Cavallero offered to work a one-night deal, so I just brought him on, and he's going to be on the pre-show both of these tapings. So thank you, buddy. They have great chemistry. What a fucking pre-show match, I guess. It did pretty well. Atsumori Takamura is great. But we kick off the actual edition of Coast to Coast with Frankie, Fox, and Masked Cougar, and essentially Frankie says that he has joined the Coastal Kings because he sees Fox Mask's vision. He was disgusted that Sean McFly and Cliff Anderson would allow a jobber, a known scumbag like American Flash to get multiple world title matches, and it dawned on him that maybe, just maybe, Fox Mask was onto something. Maybe Fox Mask was right all along, because I'm Frankie, because I've realized that I am now on the back half of this Coastal Zone roster. I'm a part of the legacy that is trying to be preserved here. I'm alongside the crew with Masked Cougar, with Fox Mask, back when Troy Tornado was around, back when Rich and Famous were at the top, when Air Attack Weasel was around. That's my era, and I'm seeing guys like Frankie Boy come along. I'm seeing guys like Seth Whitehead and, worst of all, American Flash come in and try to erase everything that we built. So Fox Mask has promised me that if I join him, not only will I see success imminently, but I will get something that was stolen to me by American Flash and Frankie Boy Fernandez. I'm getting my Confederation of the Territories title back. And Johnny Perez then interrupts. Johnny Perez, of course, won the Reach for the Sky ladder match, which is kind of our take on Money in the Bank. You don't cash in whenever you want. You get a title match on this show. And Johnny Perez, he looks right at his brother. He ignores Fox, he ignores Cougar, and he says, "Frankie, what the fuck has become of you?" And Frankie's like, "I woke up, Johnny. I woke up," and Johnny's like, "This is ridiculous. You're aligning yourself with you're joining the Coastal Kings." And Frankie's like, "You know it." And Johnny, he holds up his reach for the sky briefcase, and he says, you know what, Frankie, you've become a disgrace to our family name for the past couple months. It all started when you teamed with Heartbroken Breaker, whatever, that 1 week, but this is different. This is different. You've thrown away everything that you value, all your morals and values in life. You've thrown all of them away to join Foxmask to get a championship back that you lost fair and square. You know what? I don't think there's enough people. Foxmask always says, oh, everybody's ganging up on me and my guys. You know what? I don't think there's enough people ganging up on you and your guys. I don't think American Flash. I don't think Frankie Boy. I don't think California Love Machine. I don't think any of them are able to take on the force that is the Coastal Kings by themselves, because I'm joining that fight. And tonight, Mask Cougar, main event, I'm challenging you for your title. And Foxmask, he looks right at him. He's like, Johnny, you can challenge for any title that is defended here on Coastal Zone. Now, I'm giving you one chance to change your mind, because you do not want to challenge for that title. And Johnny looks right at Foxmask and he says, I am challenging for that title. And then as soon as he says that, Foxmask nods. Mask Cougar jumps him from behind. Cheap shot. They start to beat down Johnny, beat him down. And Frankie doesn't join the fight. That's still his brother. He's watching the beatdown happen. And Foxmask, he yells, Cougar, get him on the apron. And Cougar gets him on the apron. And they set up for the pile driver off the apron onto the floor that it took Aldis Blackfur out indefinitely. It took Tony DeWonderful out for months, and they're going to do it again to Johnny Perez. And Frankie, he stops him. He says, wait, stop. I want to do it. And then without hesitation, he goes to the apron and gives his own brother that pile driver off the apron. The crowd gasps, and Johnny Perez is forced out of the arena with a stretcher. He never gets that reach for the sky match. He's in no condition to compete, so we are not going to have Johnny Perez's title match tonight. He won the reach for the sky, and he didn't get his reward. 59 rated opening segment. Our opening match sees Seth Whitehead take on Komodo Dragon. Just gonna keep Komodo Dragon and Snapdragon Jr. Keep throwing them out here. Give them some reps. I might have them take on the Ray Cavallaro in the pre-show on the next episode. Just give them more reps. Why the fuck not? But yeah, this gets a 52. Seth Whitehead wins in 6 minutes and 24 seconds. Butterfly powerbomb. Seth got a 64. Good shit. After the match, Seth essentially just cuts a promo saying there's no more time for waiting. Flash has failed. Cali Love has failed. Frankie Boy has failed. Nobody stands in my way. I'm getting that championship. That title is mine next, and nobody else is standing in my way. 48, we get a promo from El Jaguar and Luis Montero Jr., but I accidentally put Luis Montero Jr. off screen. Whoops, I meant to put him on background player. Ignore that, just pretend like he's on screen, and they're cutting a promo where essentially they say, look, the last time we took on California Love Machine and Frankie Boy Fernandez, we were brand new to the tag team division. We were infants in the tag division. I was not an infant as a whole, but the team of me and Luis, we were new. And tonight, now that we have trained and worked our ass off in one match after match after match, failing to get the tag titles, but we will get them eventually, now we're ready to take down Going Coastal and cement our spot in the tag division. Frankie Boy, Cali Love, we got nothing against you, but we're coming to take that spot. 54 rated segment, and we get a horrible match. Horrible. Actually, I did not get the unimportant versus unimportant. It was just they did not click, which did not help. But yes, Swipe Romero gets a victory, ladies and gentlemen. Swipe Romero has defeated Snapdragon Jr. in 5 minutes and 27 seconds with the side swipe. This was our Steal the Show match, and afterwards, the Guru, he comes in to interview Swipe Romero and immediately kicks it off with a backhanded compliment. He says, Swipe, you have just won your first match in 2022 in September. What is next for Swipe Romero? And he just looks at Guru and he's like, you know, that hurt. Guru, that was a low blow even for you, but you know what? Maybe I needed to hear something like that. That was my first win in 2022. Was it actually? I'm pretty sure it was. Please include already booked. I'm pretty sure that was. If it wasn't, he had like a pre-show match or something. Yeah, 9. He's 0-9. He hasn't even won a tag match. He's 0-9. This was his first victory, and he says, "You know what, Guru? Maybe your backhanded compliment was exactly what I needed to hear. Because I've done fuck all. I've done absolutely nothing with not just my career, but especially this year. It's time for me to wake up, get my shit together, and take over. I'm tired of just accepting a paycheck, coming in, doing what needs to be done, doing the bare minimum, and going home. I can be a fucking star. And what am I doing? I'm getting lazy, and that's not gonna happen anymore. So, Guru, I gotta thank you for being a prick for once, because you have just unleashed a beast." 48. We get a promo from Waylon Walls who says, "Look, Foxmask Jr. or Foxmask 2 did a number on Bullseye's knee. They took it out. He used the lip of the chair, banged it in backwards, and Bullseye is still out. But even if Bullseye's out, Waylon Walls has 2 Extreme Championship reigns under his belt. Just because his tag partner's out does not mean the war against the Coastal Kings is over. The war against the Coastal Kings will continue, and it will not end until they get revenge." 39, horrible promo. 55 rated promo where Sean McFly, he has pulled the Coastal Kings into their office, and he looks right at Foxmask, and he says, "Fox, you have managed to once again turn my own words against me. You have aligned with Frankie Perez. When I banned everybody that was that's a member of the Coastal Kings or going against the Coastal Kings, you managed to find someone who abstained from both sides. You managed to do that. You managed to find someone that hated American Flash so much that he would not get the match thrown out. But you know what? I gave you that punishment because you keep ruining title matches. You keep ruining main event. You keep ruining the prestige of our pay-per-views. And I'm not going to let that continue. And you know what the punishment's going to be this time? The punishment is going to be that Jackpot Jordan and Jake Idol, next week, they need to defend their tag team titles against the team that defeated the Inner City Express at Reach for the Sky. They're defending against the Expelled, and Fox and Mask, Cougar, and the Rich and Famous. They're like, "What the fuck? What are you doing? No, that's not fair." And Sean's like, "Get out of my office." And then they storm away, and he's like, "Oh, whoa, one more thing. Remember that stipulation we were just talking about? The one you outsmarted me on? Yeah, that one's happening again. No outside men allowed, and this time Frankie Perez is being added to that list. So good luck finding more Jagoffs to help you." 55 rated angle. We have a title match set for the second taping on the next Coast to Coast. The Expelled are going to get a championship match against Rich and Famous, opening the show next week. Pre-book. Every member of the Coastal Kings is banned from ringside. We have the Heartbreaker and Air Raid Siren tag team match as they are introduced as Los Face Breakers, not Heartbreakers. They are here to break your face. And in the end, the Los Face Breakers defeat Aviation when Heartbroken Hand pins Viento Negro in 9:44 with the Injustice Driver. They get the victory. And Air Raid Siren, she lets loose. She explains why she did what she did. And she says, "I had an epiphany. After my loss to Heartbreaker, I realized that Heartbreaker's teachings, they were the stuff of legends. And I was only a part of the problem. I was preventing progress from going forward. And I am praying to every god in existence that my next actions can rectify my past grievances. And I am going to help Heartbroken's message. Women in this world cannot write off men because they're ugly or whatever. Our first act as a duo is to make sure the Extreme Championship gets into the right hands. Tigre Salvaje Jr. is a disgusting pig of a man who only dates women for their bodies, and we will make sure that the Extreme title is not held by someone of such disgusting regard." And Tigre Salvaje Jr. comes out and he just says, "I am sick to my stomach with what I'm seeing. Heartbroken, you were a deeply, deeply misguided individual." And Air Raid Siren, are you brainwashed? What is going on in your head? You don't know anything about me. You do not know my personal life. You don't even know my real identity. Neither of you have seen me without my mask. But if you want to speak a language that we both speak, then we can settle this next week. I am volunteering to defend my title in a singles match against either one of you. And Arid Siren immediately, without hesitation, she's like, oh, Heartbreaker's gonna take you up on that challenge, right, Heartbreaker? And Heart's like, yeah, I'll get that Extreme title, and just immediately volunteers Heartbroken for the match, and not herself. 52 rated segment, and we are gonna have a second title match on Coast to Coast. This one is Aussie rules, of course. Heartbroken will get his singles match against Tigre Salvaje Jr. Extreme Championship on the line next week. Pre-book it. 52 for that angle. We get a promo from Carlos Barrera, who essentially says that I have cemented, or I thought I've cemented my stay in the world title picture in the main event of pay-per-views. However, there is still one big blemish left on my resume that I need to address before I can truly get a world championship match and call myself world championship material. 49, and he doesn't elaborate. We get a promo from Going Coastal and American Flash, who essentially are just like, we are gonna make the Coastal Kings pay for what they did to Johnny Perez tonight. They will take out anyone. Frankie's own brother. Frankie Perez's own brother. It's disgusting. This whole group is despicable. They have no moral compass, and they will pay for what they did to Johnny. We get a horrible angle from Tony DeWonderful, who essentially says, it is time for me to challenge for gold. I was unsuccessful in the Reach for the Sky qualifiers. However, I am ready. I've been called the future of CZCW, and I'm tired of being called the future. I'm ready to be called the present. And Swipe Romero interrupts. He interrupts Tony DeWonderful, just essentially saying, look, Tony, you're in the same spot as me. Just because you're best friends and butt buddies with American Flash doesn't mean you're any better than me, alright? We're in the exact same situation here, Tony. So if you think you're ready for championships, then you must be more delusional than I thought, because you're not even ready for someone like me. 25, horrible promo. Our semi-main sees the Inner City Express fresh off their loss to the Expelled, which, as we know now, would have been a #1 contenders match. And they take on Hugh Dayask and Joanna Silver, the Promiscuous Pillagers, and this is their second loss in a row. They lose in 11 minutes and 52 seconds when Hugh Dayask pins Jay Becker after the Pillagers hit the poop deck plunge. Yes, I did come up with it. Yes, I know it's incredible. But yeah, 11:52, the Promiscuous Pillagers get the victory, and they say, look, tonight, the Expelled are going to get their championship match, but there is still no championship match set for Atlantis Calling, and we have proven our place in the tag division. We think it's ready for the Pillagers to go for the tag, and then they're jumped from behind by the Inner City Express, who are extra angry, probably because of their unsuccessful match against the Expelled. Probably they lost to the Expelled, and things went from bad to worse, now losing the Promiscuous Pillagers. So the Inner City Express jump the Promiscuous Pillagers for wanting a tag title match. And our final angle before the main event sees the Q crew backstage. Zell Quinn has this giant neck brace on, his arms in a sling, and he says, He brutalized me. I am injured. Seth Whitehead has taken me out of action. Look what that man did to me. I can't do a goddamn thing. I can't do anything. Seth Whitehead needs to be paid. He needs reparations. I need reparations. Justice needs to be served. And then Jackpot Jordan and Jake Idol break into their locker room, and Zell's like, what are you guys doing? Please, I'm already beat down enough. And Jackpot and Jake just essentially, they come in and they say, look, we're the tag champs. We gathered last build that, Zell, you want your boys' wasted potential to have these tag championships. So how about this? How about this, Zell? How about you scratch our back? We'll scratch your back. Clearly, a man of your status is in no physical condition to do any physical labor. However, Onslaught, Eureka, if you two, give us a hand next week during our tag title match, if you give us a hand, we'll give you a tag title shot. And Zell Quinn, he doesn't give him a straight answer. He's like, I don't know. It's not a great idea aligning with Fox Mask right now. And Jackpot and Jake are like, look, we're not threatening anything, but just think it over. Easy tag title match. 44 for that segment, and it is time for the main event. 82 rated match. Beautiful fucking match. And again, another classic between El Jaguar, Luis Montero, and Going Coastal. This one goes 20 minutes and 25 seconds, and in the rematch, once again, El Jaguar and Luis Montero Jr. are unsuccessful, taking on one of the greatest tag teams in CZCW history. Frankie Boy Fernandez hits Luis Montero Jr. with the coastliner, gets Going Coastal the victory, and Frankie Boy and American Flash, they come out and they say, we want the championship back. Masked Cougar has still yet to prove that he can beat either of us. Fair and square. You give these guys any stipulations, they find a sneaky way around it. Masked Cougar, it is time for you to defend the title against us. And Fox Mask and Masked Cougar, they come out, and they got this weird smile on their face, and Flash is like, what the hell are you so happy about? And Fox says, look, unfortunately, boys, neither of you are getting a world title match at Atlantis Calling. In fact, nobody is getting a world title match at Atlantis Calling because, I don't know if you remember this, but, we got connections. We got a man on the inside, and our little man on the inside, he gave us a different match for the pay-per-view. You see, we want to make sure that you never get this world title. And we plan to put you 6 feet in the ground, embarrass you at the first ever Atlantis Calling pay-per-view, because not only will neither of you get a title match, you two will have to go up against Masked Cougar and Frankie Perez in a tag team match. And Frankie Boy and American Flash are like, what the fuck is this? Who authorized this match? And Fox Mask is like, that's a secret. You don't get to know who authorized this match. You don't get to know. And Sean McFly can't do anything about it. It's written. It's set in stone. Masked Cougar is not defending the world title. Sorry, boys, but I guess you'll have a chance to prove that you can maybe challenge for the title if you win. And then they laugh it off. And that's how we end this first episode of Coast to Coast. The Coastal Kings have pulled their connections once again. And Masked Cougar doesn't have to defend the title. Their man from the inside pulls through once again. I can't remember what he did the first time, but he did something. Let me see if I can let's see. Right. The man from the inside hired Air Attack Weasel and Rich and Famous. So first he hired people, now he's made a match for the pay-per-view. But yes, the main event for Atlantis Calling is set. Masked Cougar and Frankie Perez will take on American Flash and Frankie Boy Fernandez. Masked Cougar doesn't have to defend the title. And what will happen on this second edition of Coast to Coast? Alright, so we kick off this second taping of Coast to Coast with another jobber match on the pre-show. I had Ray Cavallero I did exactly what I said I would. Actually signed American Patriot to also job with Ray Cavallero here on the pre-show. So, Cold Blood Brothers get a victory. Good for them. 38. We kick off the show with the Coastal Zone Tag Team titles on the line. Rich and Famous versus the Expelled. Will the Q Crew run in at the hands of Zell? Zell never gave them an answer, but the promise of a tag title match for doing legitimately nothing was too much for the Q Crew to pass up, as Rich and Famous defeat the Expelled in 13 minutes and 51 seconds when Jackpot Jordan pins Bunraku Kantori, following interference from Eureka LaBelle. Onslaught had attacked Takamura. Rich and Famous make defense number 3 of the tag titles, thanks in no small part to the Q Crew. Bunraku and Tori had a hell of a performance, and the match was so good that the turn-off was not that bad. So 65 to open the show. After that, we have Sean McFly and Seth Whitehead talking in their office, and Seth Whitehead is fucking furious. He's like, Sean, how many fucking times are we gonna do this? How many times am I gonna be this close to getting the Coastal Zone title, the shit that I deserve ever since I made my debut in this putrid company? I have deserved that title. How many times am I gonna get fucked over? I demand to know who this man on the inside is, and I demand to know why you two refuse to give me a title shot. And Sean McFly says, look, I'm just as confused as you are, Seth. I don't know who this man on the inside is. It's not Cliff Anderson. Cliff's the only other guy. Fox Mask has no power left. He has no stakes in the company. Maybe it's an investor. I don't know. I truly don't know. Cliff isn't sure. All I know is that there's a guy that owns a substantial part of Coastal Zone that I don't know the identity of, and he's able to do this shit. If he beats me to the punch, I can't do anything about it, Seth. I'm trying to figure that out as well. And Seth Whitehead says, you know what? Fucking Sean, I'll do it myself. Let's all praise Sean because he's forcing the Coastal Kings to defend the titles more than anyone else. But you know what, Sean? I'm gonna actually do something about these Coastal Kings later on tonight. 49 for that segment. We get an interview of the Inner City Express, but they are jumped mid-interview by Hugh Day Ask. Ice, of course, jumped the Pillagers after they lost to them on the last show, and Hugh Day Ask tries to get some revenge, but he jumps them alone. Jay Becker and Malik Cash are able to get the advantage, a 2v1 advantage. They're beating them up. We're in a parking lot, and eventually Jay Becker throws Hugh Day Ask's head right through a car window. It fucking shatters. Oh my god. And Hugh Day Ask is bleeding everywhere. 43 for that. Q Crew confront Jackpot and Jake, and they're essentially Zelquin with his fucking neck brace. He's like, guys, I'm just so glad. He's like having a hard time talking. I'm so glad you two have given us this opportunity. So, are we getting the title match next week or at the pay-per-view? And Jackpot and Jake, they look at each other and they're like, title match? What title match? And Zell's like, the one you said we'd get if we helped you. And Jackpot looks at Jake and he's like, I don't know about a title match, do you? And Jake's like, no, I don't. Do you three have like an email? Do you have like anything written down that says you're getting a title match? Because we're not gonna give you one unless we see written proof. And Zelquin's like, what the hell, we had a deal. And Jackpot and Jake just kind of laugh him off and leave, and they refuse to give the Q Crew their title match that they promised them. So they just used the Q Crew and left them out for dry. Our following contest sees a match between Swipe Romero and Remy Sky. Remy Sky also came to me. I did not sign him. He came to my locker room and was like, can I work? So he's jobbing to Swipe Romero. 46 rated match. Swipe Romero defeats Remy Sky in 9 minutes and 29 seconds with the side swipe. And during the entire match, he's like mocking Tony DeWonderful's mannerisms. He's doing Tony DeWonderful's taunts. He did one of his main moves. He's just making a mockery out of Tony DeWonderful in this match against Remy Sky. Just clearly does not respect Tony DeWonderful at all. 46 for that match. And then we cut backstage to where California Love Machine has found the Q Crew. And he says, Zell, look, you're clearly in a lot of pain right now. But truthfully, I don't give a fuck. Look, me, Frankie Boy, and Flash, we've kind of formed this pact to take on the Coastal Kings and try to destroy them. And anybody that works with them and helps them out becomes an enemy. And I already don't like you. I already very much do not care for you, Zelquin. You're very annoying, and you're constantly a thorn in everybody's side. So I'm just gonna let you know, I'm giving you a heads up, buddy. You are gonna fucking pay for working with the Coastal Kings. And Zell's like, look, they messed with me too. And he's like, I don't care. Just when you see me next week, it's not gonna be as nice. 58 for that segment. California Love Machine giving Zelquin a warning. Things just went from bad to worse for Zell. First, he got fucked out of his tag title match, and now he's gonna have California Love Machine at his throat. We have a 50 rated segment where Tigre Salvaje Jr. catches Air Raid Siren alone backstage, and he's like, Siren, truthfully, I want to have a heart-to-heart with you. Heartbroken is nowhere near us. What is going through your head? Why are you doing this? Why are you aligning with a man that you were so disgusted by, that you betrayed before, but now you're working with him, and like, are you genuinely being blackmailed, or is he, have you lost your mind? Are you brainwashed? And Air Raid, she looks around. She's like, you know what? He's nowhere near me. You know what? Since this plan's foolproof, I'm just gonna tell you how it is. Straight up. I witnessed firsthand just how gruesome and dangerous that disgusting fuck truly is. That grotesque mongoloid of a man has become a goddamn Frankenstein. He is unstoppable. He has finally put his mind to actually winning pro wrestling matches, and it seems like nobody can stop him. And I have somehow convinced this deranged, sociopathic motherfucker that I am in love with him. And guess what he said? He said he wants to buy me jewelry. And I said, oh, heart, baby, I have so much jewelry, but I don't have any belts. And he's like, I can get you belts. So you know what he's gonna do? Later on tonight, when Heartbroken goes one-on-one with you for your title, and I'm in his corner, and there's no DQs, Heartbreaker's gonna win that title. And he's gonna he's gonna relinquish the Extreme Championship and give it right to me. And I will cement my name in history as the first woman ever to win a singles championship in Coastal Zone. This will be the easiest championship of all time, and there's nothing you can do about it, Tigre. There's nothing you can do about it, because you're going head-to-head with a grown-up homunculus filled with more rage than every single teenager in the United States combined. And I'm gonna walk out as champion. So good luck, Tigre, because you're gonna need it. 50. Air Raid Siren is gonna get the easiest title of her life. She is playing Heartbroken like a fool, and she is gonna reap all the benefits. Tigre Salvaje Jr. is absolutely stunned at what he just heard, but the show goes on, and next we get a 51 rated match as Carlos Barrera defeats Cillian Catsby in 5 minutes and 35 seconds by submission. Fun, I don't know, just match that happened, pretty much. Carlos Barrera's in a match and he wins. Our next segment cuts backstage to where Luis and El Jaguar are being interviewed again, and they're both kind of like agitated, just like, look, we know that we're good, we know that we're mainstays in the tag division now, it's very frustrating. We're really frustrated with ourselves. When the lights are the brightest, we fail. You know, we won Battle Royals, we've won number one contenders matches, we beat undercard teams, but when we're challenging for the titles, when we're challenging going coastal, when the lights are shining their strongest, we come up short. Just, that's it. That's the promo. They are frustrated that when the lights are the brightest, they fail. We cut to Frankie Boy, California, and American Flash trying to offer their help to Seth. And they're like, Seth, look, I know we haven't gotten off on the best of terms originally, but truthfully, I know that you were only coming for my title, and I was only defending it from you. I know, man to man, we don't have any beef. How about you join our fight? How about you join this little group we've got going on, the Anti-Coastal Kings? How about you join, and we'll help you out? And Seth Whitehead, and he just laughs, and he said, you all can go fuck yourselves. You all can go fuck yourselves. I do not want to lower myself to working with you three. You work with a jobber like Carlos Barrera. I embarrassed Carlos Barrera. He thinks he's some big old tough guy, and I embarrassed him. And you want me to stoop to his level? Get the fuck out of my face. And he walks away. 53. We cut to Sean McFly's office, where he looks at Fox Mask and Jackpot and Jake Idol, and he says, look, I don't know what your inside man does for my company. I don't know what power he has, but I do know that any match that I have made, he has not overturned and changed the match. So while he can't change my matches, I can't change his either. And since Jackpot Jordan and Jake Idol don't have a tag title match set for the pay-per-view, I thought, you know what? They probably need to make good on their promise. So at the pay-per-view, they're going to defend their titles against Wasted Potential, which they refused to, they promised Wasted Potential a tag title match, and I feel it's only fair that they make good on their promise. And Fox Mask, he's already like, oh, this is bullshit. They didn't even win a contenders match, and he's like, you know what, you're right. But you know who did win a contenders match? The Expelled. The Expelled won a contenders match, and Fox is like, they already got a title match. And he's like, well, yeah, but, I mean, are we really going to count that? I mean, the Q crew ran in. I mean, the match was pretty much null and void, so as far as I'm concerned, the Expelled never got their tag team title match. So at the pay-per-view, Rich and Famous, you're going to defend your titles against not only Wasted Potential, but also the Expelled in a 2v2v2. And Fox and Jackpot and Jake, they're freaking out, and he's like, hey, can you three do me a favor and get the fuck out of my office? 52 for that match, and we're having a triple threat tag match for the tag team titles at Atlantis Calling. Our next match for the Extreme Championship, Tigre Salvaje Jr., Heartbroken, and the match is going exactly as Air Raid Siren was saying. It's essentially a 2-on-1. Tigre's taking on the most angsty teen and the most angsty female teen, both at the same time, and he is getting his ass kicked. He's got nobody to help him out. Until eventually, the California Dreams, they come out and they cost Heartbroken the match. They prevent Air Raid Siren from interfering. They take out Air Raid Siren, distract Heartbroken. Tigre Salvaje Jr. hits his Salvaje suplex, makes defense number 6 of his Coastal Zone Extreme Championship in a 70 rated match. What a performance and carry job by Tigre Salvaje. But yes, the California Dreams, who were still very much pissed off with Heartbroken during the entire build to Reach for the Sky last year. Heartbroken had screwed Sky Hermosa out of the Reach for the Sky match. So Sky Hermosa and Kira Lee have come in and screwed Heartbroken out of his championship. But not only him, they have also screwed Air Raid Siren out of her championship. And they both are just staring down the Dreams, essentially saying, you too will pay for what you did tonight. 46 rated angle. We go to Sean McFly's office where Tigre Salvaje has already made his way back there. Or you know what? No, we're not in Sean McFly's office. Sean McFly goes to where the entrance ramp is and he meets up with Tigre and he's like, Tigre, look, straight up, I just want to thank you. I'm dealing with a lot of bullshit in my world title scene and my tag title scene. And I just, as a thank you for going out of your way to defend your championship, I want to give you the pay-per-view off. You've made my job easier, so I want to make your job easier. And Tigre, he looks right at Sean, he says, look, Sean, you know this as well as I do. I wouldn't be in this business if I didn't enjoy wrestling. And I also kind of want the pay-per-view payday. So, with all due respect, do you think you could book me on the pay-per-view? And he's like, damn. You know what? Like I said, you're making my job easier, so I'll do whatever you want. If you want to work the pay-per-view, if you want your pay-per-view bonus, you can. So you know what? Next week, we'll hold a 4-way. We'll hold a 4-way number 1 contenders match to see who will face you at the pay-per-view. And Tigre says, I can't wait. And he doesn't say at this moment who it is, but it is revealed later on in the show during commentary that it will be a 4-way between Simon Waves, Sky Hermosa, Tony DeWonderful, and Waylon Walls. Winner gets a Extreme Championship match at Atlantis Calling. Number 1 contenders match. Our final angle before the main event, we see Seth Whitehead. I forgot to put somebody on screen, but it's fine. Seth Whitehead calls out Fox Mask, and he says, look, Fox, I don't know who the fuck you got working for you. I don't know who you have in middle management that's pulling these strings, but I am sick of it. You have fucked me over one too many times. You've tricked me into teaming with you. You've baited me into teaming with you. I'm sick of your bullshit, Fox Mask. Come out here and fight me like a man. And Fox Mask comes out and he just says, Seth, I'm sorry, dude, But we got bigger fish to fry. We're not interested in total rejects, alright? And Seth Whitehead says, oh, if I'm a fucking reject, how come I left on my own accord to work in Coastal Zone? How come I left on my own accord to do what you did for 20 years and do it fucking better? So if you don't think I'm on your level, then come on out. Send anybody, send anyone, and I'll beat them. And what does Foxmask do? Foxmask sends Air Attack Weasel, but he also sends Foxmask 2, and he sends Masked Cougar, and he sends Frankie Perez, and it's a singles match between Seth Whitehead and Air Attack Weasel, but the Coastal Kings are at ringside the entire time, and since Seth Whitehead refused the help of Going Coastal and American Flash, he is fighting this uphill battle the entire time, but eventually, even though Frankie, Callie, and Flash were told to fuck off by Seth Whitehead, it gets to a point where they have had enough, and they make it to the outside. They take out the Coastal Kings on the outside, leaving just Seth Whitehead and Air Attack Weasel, and Seth Whitehead gets the victory after 20 minutes and 26 seconds, locking in the Minnesota stretch for the 65 rated main event. And we end the show with the Coastal Kings and Frankie and Cougar and Foxmask 2 and American Flash, all of them, they all brawl to the back. Seth Whitehead stands tall, and he's confronted. I missed the button. And he's confronted by Carlos Barrera. And Carlos says, Seth, I think both of us are really fucking pissed off by Foxmask and his inside informant screwing everybody out of a title match at the pay-per-view. And I thought of something. Sean McFly said something earlier that if a match is made, neither him or this inside man can change it. So it seems to me the only way to get a title match before something else can get booked is to have a number one contenders match. And Seth, I still haven't forgotten about that loss I took to you. I tried to back up my own words and say that I'm better than almost everybody in Coastal Zone, that I'm the best non-champion in Coastal Zone, and then I lose to you, and that blemish, that mark on my record still haunts me. I haven't forgotten about that loss, and honestly, from the way that you were talking to Callie and Frankie and Flash earlier in the show, yeah, I heard you. I was right around the corner. I was trying to take a piss, and I hear some jagoff talking shit about me. I can tell by the way that you were talking to them, you're not over me either. You might have won the match, but deep down inside, you feel like you didn't finish the job because I came back. And I've built myself back up. And you're jealous that I was able to build myself up. And you have to go out and get other people and other companies to do that for you. I think you envy me. And I think that you want this number one contenders match just as much as me. So how about we run it back, Seth? For all the marbles, winner gets a world championship match. What do you say? And Seth Whitehead looks right at him, and he says, Carlos, there's nothing in the world I want more than that title. And if I gotta beat you to get it, that will only make the victory sweeter. You are on for the pay-per-view. And we have, I forgot to pre-book it earlier, Seth Whitehead, oh, I fucking missed that, Carlos Barrera 2, number one contenders match. Winner gets a world championship match, presumably at Hardcore Halloween. And that is how we end this edition of Coast to Coast. 64, perfect. Overall show, we lost $500 because it is Sunday. We did not game a popular, well, it hasn't aired yet. Yeah, I forgot to mention, I had to tape this one on Sunday because Frankie Perez is touring in Japan right now, so I moved it around. Even though he's not in a match, kinda can't run Coastal Zone without Frankie Perez in my eyes. So, hasn't aired yet. We will make money tonight in-game. But with that, I'm gonna leave that here. Fuck off, Seth. He didn't injure you. I'm gonna leave that episode here. I hope you all enjoyed this edition of Coast to Coast. If you haven't seen it yet, if you enjoyed the series and you want to jump in at any point with your own save, just a day or two ago, it might even be the last video I uploaded. I have made all the database save points public at the beginning of each month, aside from the default month. I have used the turn to database feature to make databases for every save point, for every month in this save. If you want to jump in and play along with me, I do this all the time with diaries. I'm like, fuck, I really wish I could jump in to this Lloyd north of the border diary and book from here. So I'm giving you guys that opportunity too. So just throwing it out there. If you didn't see that, those are public now. But I hope you all enjoyed this edition of the Push for Relevancy, and maybe I will see you guys live for episode number 27. Maybe not. I'm sure we'll find out when episode 27 comes around.